The Sidecar World Championship, round one. The 30-second board is showing, and we are just seconds away from the start of the 2001 World Championship. The number 2 machine there, Klaus Klaffenbach, this year joined by Christian Partzer. All changes as far as passengers are concerned, so we've just got 30 seconds before the start of the warm-up lap. The marshal with the red flags waving everybody away. It's been a difficult qualifying, difficult conditions here at Ricardo Tormo circuit here in Valencia. What I mean by that is very windy conditions on Friday and Saturday. Just where you thought there was grip, there was no grip, and the grid, as we see, has set off. Klaus Klaffenbach and Christian Partzer. Partzer is now with Klaus Klaffenbach, and they, after qualifying, a difficult qualifying, got on the pole position. Row 2, Steve Webster and Paul Woodhead, champions from last year, and they are really dialed in, ready for a good race today. And in third place, Jörg Steinhausen and Andy Hetherington, so they are there on third place on the grid and the Suzuki powered machine. Row 4, Muldoon and Krone, they are in position, and Van Gils 8th fastest, so that's row 4 as the machine set off around this 4-kilometre Ricardo Tormo circuit. I was saying about conditions being dangerous and slippery. The high winds on Friday and Saturday were blowing dust from the edge of the track, and indeed from the side of the track onto the circuit, and so any of the outfits that was just slightly off of the racing line were finding themselves slipping around, not getting the traction, not getting the grip, not getting the drive onto the corners. Valencia circuit has got a lot of turns, left and right hand corners, and that really is important to be able to get the drive. This year, of course, the first year where all of the outfits, the sidecar outfits, must use 4-stroke machines, 4-stroke engines that is. There are now no 2-stroke engines out there on the grid, so there's a mixture of Suzuki's, Yamahas and 1 or 2 Kawasaki's out there on the grid. Of course, for 8 times sidecar champion Steve Webster, he has had 2 years with the Suzuki GSXR 1200 machine. He has had 2 years of development and developing the right reliability of that machine. So the champion, who is defending his 8 World Championships, defending that championship here at round 1 at Valencia, and that race will start in just a few seconds time. The machines have been set off on their warming up lap, and we see Klaus Klaffenbach, the adversary, the arch rival for Steve Webster during the 2000 season. Klaffenbach on pole position, Webbo, Steve Webster and Paul Woodhead. The live on-screen racing is the principal sponsor for Steve Webster and Paul Woodhead for this year. Webbo starting from second on the grid. Steve, been through all this before, knows what's needed. Jörg Steinhausen, well, he doesn't have Christian Partzer this year. Jörg Steinhausen has Andy Hetherington from Britain, of course, as sidecar passenger for 2001 season. So musical chairs as far as who's who in the passenger seat. But the riders are the same. Jörg Steinhausen with the Steinhausen Racing Suzuki outfit has had a good qualifying. We're looking there at the number 7 machine. That is Steve Abbott and Jamie Biggs. Steve Abbott and Jamie Biggs on the Grevenset Racing machine. The Yamaha 1000 engine, which has been bored out to 1100cc. Let's hope that Abbo's got some power to come from that this year. But the riders now forming up on the grid. The yellow flag at the back of the grid just indicating that the rear of the grid taking up position, ready for a full race. The sun is shining still, the track surface temperature some 30 plus degrees. All these 4-stroke machines will be looking for grip. They'll also be looking for race longevity for tyres. The number 24 machine is the last one on the grid. That's Yun Ayakawa from Japan on the Suzuki Kamano Racing, with Yuzuru Kobe just taking a position. That's it, grid's completed. We wait for the red flag man to get out of the way. Passengers over the rear wheels, they're looking for traction from the grid, from the starting grid. We wait to see how Claffey gets away, and he does. No problems at all, but that from the 4th row of the grid is a spirited start. But there is Steve Webster. Klaus Klaffenbach away cleanly into turn 1. Oh, and there is Steve Webster tucking into 3rd place. 4th, 5th and 6th in line astern as we come up to the turn 2, and that is, oh, a tremendous getting together and huge crash. Two sidecar outfits come together, riders and passengers ejected. The sidecars hit the Armco at the edge of the track between turn 1 on the brakes, so they're approaching turn 2. The sidecar outfits careered into the tyres at the edge of the track, stunned riders, stunned passengers, destroyed sidecar outfits. The race has got to be red flagged, and even if not, the sidecar passengers, yep, there's the red flag, passengers raising their hands. A red flag here at Riccardo Tormo circuit, a titanic accident like the which I haven't seen since perhaps Brands Hatch last year. But there was a coming together between turn 1 and turn 2 on the brakes in the deceleration zone. Two sidecars came together, collided, locked fairings, locked wheels. The bikes were just pitched on their sides and certainly destroyed. Restart after just a few hundred yards of race 1. Away they go again, cleanly. That is Klaffenbach. Webster, a bad start there, drops back to something like 4th position. All outfits are together, but Claffey has got the whole shot again. The number 3 outfit of Jörg Steinhausen looking like he's taking the lead. Steinhausen away in race lead, so Steinhausen with new passenger Christian Parts, so Steinhausen takes the lead. Sorry, that is Jörg Steinhausen and Andy Hetherington through turn 2. The number 12 machine, well, that's off that's onto the grass. The Steenbergen brothers, Paul and Rennie Steenbergen from the Netherlands. Steenbergen and Raisin take to the grass. Hopefully they came back on safely. Well, drama here from the sidecars. Turn 2 seems to be the big problem. The number 12 machine, Steenbergen, across the grass and take back that position on the circuit, but the number 9 machine there in 3rd place. Tom Hanks, Phil Biggs from Great Britain on the Suzuki, the Hans racing machine. A brilliant start, an inspired start from something like the 4th row. Zapped through, collected the right sort of gearing after qualifying, the right sort of tyre selection, and has zapped through. So the Hanks racing outfit brilliant into 3rd place. Race leader though, Jörg Steinhausen and Andy Hetherington on the back part of the circuit. Number 7 outfit of Steve Abbott and Jamie Biggs there in contention. Number 24, that is the Japanese outfit, Kamano Racing of Hayakawa and Kobe. And that is the number 7 machine there. We saw Steve Abbott and Jamie Biggs, but across the tarmac, Stevie Abbott, well, take the shortest route, Steve Abbott. Always known to try and do things that way. The number 14 outfit is Jan Hansen, Antonio Sores. The French outfit, Hansen Racing, they're in their contention. But look at this side by side. Number 3, Jörg Steinhausen, zapped by the number 2 outfit, Klaus Klaffenbach. Needed no second invitation to go through along the 870 metre start-finish straight. So Klaus Klaffenbach on the Klaffenbach Racing Suzuki. Christian Parts are there as passenger. Slipstreamed the number 3 outfit of Jörg Steinhausen, zapped him on the brakes and takes the race lead. There is 8 times world champion Steve Webster, or Webbo. We've seen him so many times before, just settle down at the beginning of the race. Steve Webster knows he's got a long race distance ahead of him, and he is currently behind the Hanks outfit, Tom Hanks and Phil Biggs. Hanks Racing currently there in 3rd place. That's a brilliant start to the race from them. But Steve Webster in 4th place. The number 7 outfit, Steve Abbott, Jamie Biggs, the Kremensek Racing outfit. He's had a brilliant start as well. And there is Steve Webster. Thank you very much. Gets the power down. I talked to you about needing to get the traction, getting the power down around this occasionally slippy Valencia Riccardo Tormo circuit here in Spain. And Steve Webster got the racing line, he got the drive down and zapped the number 9 outfit of Tom Hanks and Phil Biggs. Phil Biggs, passenger there for a long time with Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks had a brilliant season last year, a couple of rostrums, so he knows what to do. But Steve Webster, Paul Woodhead now looking menacing up into 3rd place, are tucked in currently behind ex-teammates Jörg Steinhausen and not ex-teammate Andy Hetherington. Andy Hetherington knows Steve Webster, of course, from the early days when they raced, not together, but raced on the same grid in the UK. But Andy Hetherington knows what Steve Webster's capable of course we all do, of course. Steve Webster getting out of the slipstream, not for the passing manoeuvre. I've said it's about 28 or 30 degrees here at Valencia, Ricardo Tormo. Steve Webster needing to keep the big Suzuki GSX-R engine cool. So pulling out of the slipstream of the number 3 outfit of ex-teammate Jörg Steinhausen. Not on this occasion for a passing manoeuvre, but to get some air through the radiator, keep the temperature controlled. Any overheating and all of a sudden you're losing not 5, not 10, but 15 plus horsepower. Doesn't matter what engine it is, if you're in the temperature and the engine gets hot, forget it, it's game over. But Steve Abbott, Jamie Biggs, taking advantage of this histrionics, this chopping and changing, this dicing for the race lead, because he now is able to move up comfortably onto the back wheel, or almost onto the back wheel of fellow countryman Steve Webster. But Jörg Steinhausen equally as comfortable. Oh, the dress rehearsal from Steve Webster, looking to get through now. Steve Webster is getting a little bit frustrated. He can see the temperature gauge moving up and moving up. He wants to get past former teammate Jörg Steinhausen. All through the 2000 season, it was a similar story where Jörg Steinhausen might get a good start. Steve Webster, however, settled for a comfortable start. Steve Webster on the live on screen sponsored machine. Steve Webster waited until he got heat into the tyres, until the fuel load just dropped down a little bit. The live on screen blue, white and red machine, resplendent in those colours. I have to say, Steve, much more easy to pick out this year. Your colours, you look more pick-outable, shall we say, if there's such a word. Easier to pick out in the silver colours from last year when you were with the Steinhausen team. But race leader Klaus Klaffenbach looking good for the race lead at the moment. Klaus Klaffenbach with Christian Parzer in the chair this time. The number 3 machine, Jörg Steinhausen, currently in second place, but I think not for too much longer. Steve Webster, dress rehearsals on that previous lap, looking for the way through, a little bit frustrated, but controlled frustration. I think we'll see Steve Webster make the move through to second place in the next lap and a half. All action here at Valencia. Don't go away for too long, we won't be far away. This is the closest sidecar race, 1, 2, 3, 4. Stay with us, folks. Back in a few seconds or a few minutes.
Lay down, Sally. No need to leave so soon.
If instead of driving home from work, you were driving across a whole continent, what would you take with you? You'd take Drive. It's a 4 CD set with the 60 most exhilarating open-air tracks ever written. Eric Clapton, Chris de Burgh, Fleetwood Mac and the Christians. John and Vangelis, Eurythmics, Elton John and In Excess. But you can't buy it in the shops. You have to order by phone. With a 4-hour lineup of classic artists like these, it just hits the road and keeps going.
My name is Luca. I live on the 2nd floor. Somehow I'll find my way home.
To get your copy, call now. Inside, we know great music when we hear it.
On Sunday nights on Eurosport, we're in the American zone. That means extended coverage of at least one major US motorsport event and all the latest American sports news, so you can catch up with the latest baseball, basketball, ice hockey, American football, you name it. This week, NASCAR and the first American Le Mans of the season from the Texas Motor Speedway. The American Zone, Sunday from 20:30 on Eurosport.
Sidecar World Championship 2001 here at Valencia Circuit. Ricardo Tormo. That's game over for Barry and Jane Fleury. The Dutch team on the Suzuki Team Fleury Racing, they have to pull into pits lane. The number 16 outfit is out of it. Well, I think that's a disagreement there. Something was said or done out on track that they'll talk for a long time about afterwards. However, with just about half race distance, the leading quartet out there on the track, soon to be a leading 5 race dice, currently at the moment led by number 2 Klaus Klaffenbach, Christian Partzer on the Klaffenbach racing machine, second place Jörg Steinhausen and Andy Hetherington on the Steinhausen Racing Suzuki, and in third place currently Steve Webster, and that is the outfit, the number 7 outfit of Steve Abbott and Jamie Biggs. Ab goes through. Stevie Abbott, I was talking earlier about Stevie Abbott going, well, angels fear to tread. If there's half a gap, then Ab will go through, and certainly he does that, goes through on fellow countrymen Steve Webster and Paul Woodward. Well, Steve Webster will be a little bit miffed about that. Not necessarily surprised, but a little bit miffed, a little bit unhappy about the fact that Steve Abbott went through on Steve Webster, only left the thickness of a coat of paint. And at this stage of the race, this stage of the championship, you need to get as many points, you need consistency, and that is translated. Fastest lap by Stevie Abbott and Jamie Biggs. They are on a charge. This circuit suits Stevie Abbott, and the based on the 1000cc R7 R1 1000cc engined Yamaha, it's not got that longer straights. However, the tight and twisty Valencia circuit, as I said, tight and twisty. That number 7 outfit of Stevie Abbott and Jamie Biggs is that bit lighter. The Grevenset racing machine is lighter. He's able to brake later, accelerate that bit earlier, and he's using it to the maximum. So Jamie Biggs, Stevie Abbott outfit, the Grevenset racing outfit, currently up there in contention for a rostrum position, and at the moment lying in an excellent second place. Third place at the moment, Jörg Steinhausen. Here we see the manoeuvre again. Stevie Abbott on the brakes, lining up the passing manoeuvre on the inside. Doesn't need a second invitation. He can use the curves and the edge of the track. As long as it's a left-hander, they're going around at the right sort of speed, so the sidecar pan, where the sidecar rider sits, at least for most of the time, is just skipping the surface, doesn't really contact it, and so what for most of the race is a sidecar and sidecar portion becomes a solo when they go around the corner, and Stevie Abbott puts that to great effect. But there is Jörg Steinhausen using the 1200cc Suzuki engine power. Back into second place, Steinhausen Racing retakes second place, demotes Stevie Abbott and Jamie Biggs back to third place. The power of the Suzuki 1200 Steinhausen Racing machine just ate into that second place lead and zapped poor old Stevie Abbott. So Jörg Steinhausen back in second place and closing on race leader Klaus Klaffenbach. Why this is all taking place, I hasten to add, I remind you that the 8 times world champion and champion from 2000, the number 1 machine there of the live on screen racing, Steve Webster and Paul Woodhead outfit, they are watching all this malarkey taking place. They are able, on some of the corners, to actually back off the throttle when the riders dicing for second and third place are balking and bumping and stealing each other's racing line. Steve Webster is able to just back off that little tiny bit and protect his tyres, ready for the later in the race battle. But the number 11 outfit of Ian Guy and Andy Peach losing fluid dramatically. That's got to be water. Ian Guy and Andy Peach losing water from the coolant system. Also teammates, as per live on screen racing, teammates to Steve Webster and Paul Woodhead. But that, I fear, is game over for Ian Guy and Andy Peach, using the Suzuki 1200 engine for the first time this year, live on screen racing. But Ian Guy and Andy Peach, they're losing water, so a hose has burst, losing coolant. That temperature gauge will just, well, it'll be China syndrome soon, it'll just melt down. They too will be out of the race here at Valencia. So Steve Webster out of the slipstream of Stevie Abbott and Jamie Biggs, again not for a passing manoeuvre, but Steve Abbott at this stage of the race. Klaffenbach, Steinhausen there, currently leading. In third place it's Stevie Abbott. Fourth place it is Steve Webster. Tom Hanks, Jamie Biggs there in fifth place. So the downfield race is still tight. First, second, third, fourth and fifth, the Hanks outfit. They're not far behind, so the Tom Hanks, Phil Biggs outfit, the number 9 outfit, also taking advantage of the dogfight, particularly up there for second and first place. But there is the manoeuvre. Steve Abbott was just leaving the same sort of amount of room as he has exercised earlier on the race with that man, Jörg Steinhausen. Stevie Abbott left the room, and Steve Abbott, Paul Woodhead zapped through. So the manoeuvre that we all expected has now taken place. Defending world champion Steve Webster and Paul Woodhead up into third place. Steve Webster just pulling out of the slipstream of Stevie Abbott a few corners ago, just to get the temperature under control of his machine. Steinhausen through as well, so Steinhausen punches through to take the race lead. Steinhausen will have seen the change of position. They'll have looked behind on one of the previous corners. They'll know that old adversaries, Steve Webster and Paul Woodhead, are moving up. They're making the move. As they see pit boards now on the start-finish straight, they'll see +0, +0, +0. Oh, look at that. Steve Abbott again pulling out of the slipstream. He's going for the inside line, hard on the brakes. Oh, there's no room to go with 15 laps to go. Stevie Abbott had to drop back then. We saw the smoke from the front wheel as Steve Webster realised he wasn't going to get through. Oh, he's lost the drive from that mistake of the outbraking between second and third corner. But Steve Webster has seen the red mist, repasses Stevie Abbott. This battle is now 1, 2, 3, 4 dice for the race lead. We've got 5 outfits strung together, all with just about a second covering them. This is the most exciting and close sidecar race I've seen in a long time. That man there on the number 1 machine, a rare mistake by Steve Webster and passenger Paul Woodhead. Steve Webster tried to outbrake 3 outfits at the end of the start-finish straight. Had to anchor up to avoid collision. That cost him drive between turn 1 and turn 2. Steve Webster was repassed then by fellow British riders. That is Stevie Abbott and Jamie Biggs. Stevie Abbott and Jamie Biggs zapped by, pushed through again, no problems at all. But Steve Webster cost himself a lot of time by that mistake, that costly mistake at the end of the last lap. But Steve Webster puts it right again, gets the 1200 Suzuki engine on song, gets the drive, manages to just open the throttle and repass Stevie Abbott again. Oh, Stevie Abbott again taking advantage of the lighter weight 1000 Yamaha based machine, pushes through, takes Jörg Steinhausen, so temporarily retaking that second place. But Jörg Steinhausen winds up the 1200 Suzuki. We're on the start-finish straight. He's passed Abbott before. He's done the same thing again. Jörg Steinhausen, Suzuki power, just zaps past on that 875 metre long start-finish straight. Jörg Steinhausen, 2 wins last year in the championship. Winds up the Suzuki. Oh, another collision. Another out of the race. Disappointment for Jan Hansen and Antonio Soares, the French riders on the Hansen Racing Suzuki, parked at the edge of the track. Well, it happened like this, it happened like that, but the end result is you're out of the race. So number 14 out, no points here in Valencia. But the battle at the front, changing corner by corner, lap by lap. Incredible. Jörg Steinhausen has got Klaus Klaffenbach right by the side of him, but Steinhausen fights off Klaffenbach. Steinhausen leads on the Steinhausen Racing Suzuki GSXR 1200. At the moment, at least, he leads, but Klaus Klaffenbach with new passenger Christian Partzer. They are looking menacing on the number 2 machine there in second place. The red, white and blue machine of Steve Webster and defending champion Paul Woodhead. They've battled, they've diced with fellow countrymen Steve Abbott and Jamie Biggs, but they've fought them off and they are now in third place. We are at around about half race distance. There's now a pattern forming. Jörg Steinhausen held up, balked and battling with Klaus Klaffenbach earlier on in the race. Steve Webster could see that former teammate Steinhausen was pulling away, tried some manoeuvres, and he's tried another one because defending champions Steve Webster and Paul Woodhead on the start-finish straight is side by side with Klaus Klaffenbach, but Klaffenbach's machine also a 1200 Suzuki based machine. Klaffenbach seemed to have the drag, he seemed to have the drive and was able to hold off Steve Webster. Last lap is not too far away, but currently we've got fastest lap by the Steinhausen Andy Hetherington machine, the Steinhausen machine, has got the fastest lap. So as I said, Steinhausen could see that he'd got a hole shot. He could see that Claffey was dicing for second place with defending champion Steve Webster and Paul Woodhead. So he put the hammer down and tried to pull away. But equally, Klaus Klaffenbach has got the hammer down, got his head down. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see a fastest lap from Klaus Klaffenbach at some stage, and has closed up the gap again. Klaffenbach, his machine, the 1200 Suzuki, has got lots and lots of drive, the correct tyre choice, the engine is singing, it's going so well, and look how quickly it's closed up onto the back wheel of Jörg Steinhausen Suzuki. Klaffenbach last year with 6 wins on the track. However, that was netted down to 5 wins because of course Klaus Klaffenbach and then passenger Adolf Harney at Donington, they were thrown out of the results because they were found to have fuel that had too much oxygen content in it, and that of course illegal under the eyes of the FAM. So last year, just the 5 wins from Klaus Klaffenbach, 3 second places, and still for all that trouble ended up second place in the championship to Steve Webster. But look now, Klaus Klaffenbach and Christian Partzer lining up and making the move on Jörg Steinhausen. The drag, the power, the torque of the number 2 machine is supreme. In successive laps, the number 2 machine is Klaus Klaffenbach, and Christian Partzer has gone by Steve Webster and Paul Woodhead, lined up and passed the number 2 outfit of, the number 3 outfits of Jörg Steinhausen and Andy Hetherington, and has pulled away easily at this second half of the race here at Ricardo Tormo Circuit Valencia. The number 2 outfit, Klaus Klaffenbach and Christian Partzer, look so comfortable. There's no slipping, no sliding from the tyres, so the correct tyre choice after qualifying was made. The number 2 outfit, of course, qualified on pole position, so those slippery conditions, those sometimes slippery conditions from the OPCM machine, as Klaus Klaffenbach Racing Machine, got everything right, and so far in this race here at Valencia has got everything under control. Old teammates there, Jörg Steinhausen with Andy Hetherington in the chair this year, adversaries this year, Steve Webster and Paul Woodhead on the live on screen racing 1200 Suzuki, right in contention there. But Steve Webster, wily character, 8 times world champion in sidecar, all the experience you could ever need at racing, let alone sidecar, but if anything, been in this position time and time again, knows that the race leader Klaus Klaffenbach is pulling away. He knows that very soon he's going to have to make a manoeuvre. Looks like he's trying to do, yes, he's on the racing line and pushing through at the end of the straight, goes by on the brakes from Jörg Steinhausen, teammate from last year. So, Steve Webster up into second place on the live on screen GSXR 1200 Suzuki. Third place now for Jörg Steinhausen with Andy Hetherington in the chair this year. Webster could see that Klaus Klaffenbach, the oldest of adversaries, pulling away, so Webster knew he'd got to make the move. Slipstreaming, pulled by the side, pulled out of the slipstream of the number 3 machine, Jörg Steinhausen, on the brakes, on the racing line for the turn 1, the first left-hander, pulled through. Second place for Steve Webster. So, number 2, Klaffenbach leading, Webster second. Third is Jörg Steinhausen. Don't go away from the conclusion of this sidecar race special.
Greifen Sie jetzt zu. Sichern Sie sich das Nokia 3310 mit dreifach Zubehör. Rufen Sie jetzt mobil direkt an. 0180 1 4 mal die 015. Sie erhalten dieses Superset inklusive Ledertasche, Autoladegerät und persönlicher Freisprecheinrichtung mit dem Time & More 20 Tarif von E+. Dieses Spitzenhandy hat SMS mit über 450 Zeichen, Vibrationsruf und integrierte Antenne. Lieferung in 48 Stunden mit 14 Tagen Rückgaberecht. 49 Mark für den Anschluss sind frei. Der Preis dieses Superset kostet 0 Mark. Bestellen Sie jetzt, dann entfällt der Grundpreis bis zum 31. Mai 2001. 0180 1 4 mal die 015.
Eurosport.com enables you to join the football action. With a Winamax game presented by Gillette Mac 3, you can create your own football dream team. Take part in the 5 major European championships, define your tactic, make transfers, and much more.
If they score, you score. And you can win lots of fantastic prizes. So become a football manager with Winamax and Gillette Mac 3 on Eurosport.com Game Zone.
Nicht vergessen, das Nokia 3310 mit Dreifach-Zubehör kostet 0 Mark. Jetzt zum Ortstarif anrufen und sofort bestellen. 0180 1 4 mal die 015.
They say these guys have got the quickest reactions in sport. The Table Tennis Liebherr European Champions League, today at 1400 on Eurosport.
With Liebherr. It's an uncertain world, but on Eurogoals, there's one thing you can be certain of.
Eurogoals, Monday at 18:30 and 23:15. Remember, every game from the European National Leagues is also live at Eurosport.com.
With Gillette Mark 3.
Sidecar World Championship round 1 here at Ricardo Tormo Circuit in Valencia is absolutely action-packed, thrilled, close contention. 4 sidecars all in line of stern, dicing it out, duking it out for this sidecar race win. Number 1, Steve Webster. Number 3, Jörg Steinhausen. And number 7, that is Steve Abbott. 2nd, 3rd and 4th place with just around about 5 or 6 laps to go. Klaus Klaffenbach on the number 2 machine. He's race leader at the moment and got about 12 or 13 machines lengths on the dice for 2nd, 3rd and 4th. All these machines have gone head-to-head throughout the race, but Klaffenbach is now the one with the whole shot. He's got clear of this titanic struggle out there on track. Steve Webster, defending champion, 8 times world champion in sidecars, with 10 laps to go. He's seen that his old adversary, Klaus Klaffenbach, has got away, so Steve Webster, with those years of experience, knows that what he's got to do now, get his head down, be smooth, stay on the racing line. Klaus Klaffenbach and Christian Parts are race leaders, putting the fastest lap, 1:41.3, so leading the race, they're putting the fastest lap. As I say, Steve Webster's got to do the same sort of thing. He's kept out of the way as old adversary there in the number 3 machine of Jörg Steinhausen, so a relatively clear track in front of him. Clear, I say, except for the one man he wants to close on and overtake. That, of course, Klaus Klaffenbach, and new for this year passenger, Christian Partzer. Just looking at the moment for machines at the back of the grid, back markers, the 24 machine there, the Japanese contingent of Yun Hayakawa and Yuzura Kobe moving out the way. Very gentlemanly-like of you, thank you. But there is the number 5 machine. That is, of course, Gerhard Hausenberger and Adolf Harney. Again, a change of outfit there, so that is Gerhard Hausenberger this year with Adolf Harney. Of course, Adolf last year with Klaus Klaffenbach. Adolf Harney from Switzerland has changed and is now teamed up with Gerhard Hausenberger, and I think that combination, perhaps not here at Valencia, but throughout the season, will get more and more strong, more competitive. And the 23 outfit of Thomas Hemmerling and Andreas Koloch, the German sidecar outfit, the German Suzuki outfit, they're teammates Steinhausen Racing. They're, of course, teammates to Jörg Steinhausen and Andy Hetherington. A downfield battle there is looking good. Gerhard Hausenberger doubly inspired by having champion Adolf Harney there in the outfit. Harney Racing this time is a combination, as I say, will be a good combination. Fastest lap, Webster and Woodhead. They have got fastest lap, 1:40.476, so I suggested that Steve Webster and Paul Woodhead would need to do the same thing as current race leaders, Klaus Klaffenbach and Christian Partzer, and that is just exactly what Steve Webster has done. Relatively clear track, good slipstreaming now. Steve Webster lining himself up through the twisty section of the track. Live on Screen Racing is the principal sponsor this year for Steve Webster and Paul Woodhead. Also principal sponsor for Ian Guy and Andy Peach, but we saw water pouring from their stricken machine, so they're out of it for this race. But the number 2 outfit, Klaus Klaffenbach, Christian Partzer, holding on to the race lead at the moment with something like 8 or 9 laps to go. Steve Webster has closed up fairly comfortably. It wasn't more than 2 laps ago where Steve Webster had around 2 or 3 seconds to make up onto the back wheel as Klaus Klaffenbach, but Webbo and Paul Woodhead able to get their heads down and race the track rather than each other. What I mean by each other, each other's outfits, where you've got to hold a defensive racing line, you've got to brake later, lock the wheels up. We saw Steve Webster about 5 or 6 laps ago trying to pass 2 or 3 sidecar outfits in one hit into turn 1, which is this one, locked his live on screen racing GSXR 1200 outfit machine up, because if he hadn't, he would have had a dreadful collision like we saw happen halfway round lap 1. So Steve Webster, defending champion from year 2000, 8 times world champion, world sidecar champion. It's the old firm at the moment. What I mean by that is they've raced against each other season in and season out. Klaus Klaffenbach and Steve Webster, no matter who the passenger's been, these two, Klaus Klaffenbach and Steve Webster, know each other's idiosyncrasies, they know each other's style, where they're prepared to pass and where they're prepared to pass even though there isn't a passing place. They know that with about 8 laps to go that the battle is long from over yet. The race leading duet now have pulled comfortably away from the rest of the pack. Klaffenbach and Partzer, Webster, Woodhead, we can see confirmation that the distance between them has gone down. Steve Webster has hurried up, has got an equal amount of drive and grip, drive from the engine and grip from those tyres, as race leader Klaus Klaffenbach was a little bit concerned that the number 1 machine might be slipping and sliding around, but Steve Webster has dispelled those concerns. The slipping and sliding around was from when he had to lock the machine up to avoid contact earlier on. Meanwhile, down the grid, down the field, we've got number 17, Peter Schroeder, Uli Wörfler, Swiss riders on the Suzuki from the Schroeder Racing, currently locked in battle with the number 11 outfit, Ian Guy and Andy Peach. That is a surprise, a pleasant one, because there was fluid coming out of the side of that number 11 machine. I thought that it was a broken water pipe. Maybe, just maybe, it was fuel coming out of the carburetors. There was possibly a blockage, carburetors were flooding. They were able to get the thing straightened out by some judicious banging on the side of the bodywork. But nevertheless, Ian Guy, Andy Peach, apologies to them. I thought they were out of the race, but Ian Guy and Andy Peach, live on screen racing, they're back there still in the race, dicing in contention. However, Klaus Klaffenbach, Christian Partzer, looking back, knows only too well the menacing silhouette there of Steve Webster. Paul Woodhead knows what they're capable of at this stage of the race, no matter what Klaus Klaffenbach does. He speeded up, put the hammer down a little bit a couple of corners ago. They are now coming through the back markers of number 17, Peter Schroeder, and number 11, Ian Guy. Lapped that they are. Safely lapped, however, that is the main thing. Hasn't affected too much the race order. Oh, eat that, stitch that. Klaus Klaffenbach puts the outfit, the third wheel on the dirt. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Of course it wasn't deliberate. Didn't want to throw up lots of rocks and stones. Position 1 for Claffey, +0, as if he needed to know that. Going back to that, Klaus Klaffenbach put the sidecar wheel on the dirt at the edge of the Spanish circuit here. The red dust at the Ricardo Duomo circuit kicked up from the floor onto Steve Webster's visor. 0.311 seconds. Webster behind leader Klaffenbach and Partzer. Steinhausen dropping off the back now, still in 3rd place, but 4.787 seconds behind race leader Klaffenbach. And Stevie Abbott still there in contention in 4th place. But the leading duet have pulled safely away now. Some 5 or 6 laps left of this race. A rip-off visor, complete with Spanish dirt and countryside, ripped off from Steve Webster's helmet. Thank you very much. Webber will remember that for later in the year. The blue flag waving in the background for the number 11 Ian Guy and the number 17 Peter Schroeder outfit to jump to one side, because safely through is Jörg Steinhausen, the number 3 outfit, Steinhausen, Hetherington, through safely, maintaining that third place position, past the back markers, but miles behind. And Tom Hanks looks like at the top of the picture, he's there in contention. Tom Hanks dicing it out, duking it out with Stevie Abbott and Jamie Biggs, so that's a British dice for about 5th position, 4th and 5th position. So if the producer gets us back there just in a little while to see what the British boys are up to, that looks like a dice equally as fierce and ferocious as the one for the 1st and 2nd places. The closing few laps, the closing minutes of the race here. Klaus Klaffenbach currently leading, but Webbo has wound up the wick. He's on the start-finish straight, closing down onto the back wheel of Klaus Klaffenbach. There it is, proof, 5 laps to go. Steve Webster, live on Racing Outfits, GSXR, 1200 Suzuki engine powered. Pretty much the same deal for race leader Klaus Klaffenbach and Christian Partzer, the Austrian duet on the Suzuki GSXR Racing or powered outfit, the Klaffenbach Racing team. Steve Webster then with less than 5 laps to go. Now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the red mist has descended here at Valencia, a red mist of the controlled type. These two riders, these two drivers know exactly what's expected from each other, exactly what's expected from each other's team. No quarter, Astor given, Claffey. He knows what is on the table, he knows what he's got to do to beat defending champion Steve Webster and Paul Woodhead. Steve Webster's going to have one chance, and one chance only, to get by the Klaffenbach outfit. Klaffenbach Racing are fierce, ferocious, determined characters. Even if Webbo manages to get by them, there are plenty of opportunities on corners around the track, then Klaffenbach will come back in an instant. One option here may work for Steve Webster's advantage. They're coming up again against more back markers, the 23 outfitters of Thomas Hemmerling and Andreas Koloch. I mentioned them earlier on. The German sidecar outfits, the Steinhausen Racing, team members to Jörg Steinhausen, currently in the way. They are in the way if you are Klaus Klaffenbach. Into turn 1, Claffey gets by safely, but they are still one outfit. The 23 outfit is between Klaus Klaffenbach now and Steve Webster and Paul Woodhead. Claffey gets the better run. We're into turn 2. Webbo's gone through, I think, safely. We've gone through turn 2, the hairpin, the left-hander. Oh, that is a safe passing manoeuvre. That was the Lechty, and then the number 10 outfit of Kurt Lechty and Daniel Locker, the Swiss pairing on the Kawasaki team Lechty-Locker sidecar outfit, very professionally and gentlemanly pulling to one side, knowing that the titanic struggle is here. The battle royale between race leader Klaus Klaffenbach, Jörg Steinhausen is still there in 3rd place, but Klaus Klaffenbach, race leader, passenger Christian Partzer, holding on. There is Jörg, said he was in 3rd place, looking comfortable at the moment, but off the back of the leading duet, so it may well be that Jörg Steinhausen and Andy Hetherington might well have to settle to try and consolidate 3rd place, but that's not over yet. Here is number 2, but number 5, Hautzenberger and Adolf Harney has appeared in this dramatic battle. Steve Webster has got to try and get through the left-hander onto the start-finish straight. Webbo has got through, so the number 5 outfit of Gerhard Hautzenberger, the Harney Racing, of course, Adolf Harney in the sidecar outfit, they've been deposed, they've been lapped, so the race lead is still the same. Number 2, Klaus Klaffenbach, Christian Partzer. Number 1 there, Steve Webster and Paul Woodhead. It's still 1 and 2 with less than 3 laps to go. Don't go away, we'll be back very shortly.
So soon.
If instead of driving home from work, you were driving across a whole continent, what would you take with you? You'd take Drive. It's a 4-CD set with the 60 most exhilarating open-air tracks ever written.
Manic Monday. Wish it was Sunday.
Oh, when will there be
Eric Clapton, Chris de Burgh, Fleetwood Mac and the Christians.
Compares.
John and Vangelis, Eurythmics, Elton John and In Excess. But you can't buy it in the shops. You have to order by phone. With a 4-hour lineup of classic artists like these, it just hits the road and keeps going.
My name is Luca. I live on the second floor. Somehow I'll find my way home.
To get your copy, call now.
never known a girl like you before.
Inside, we know great music when we hear it.
This is simply the best of the 70s.
Going on to the spirit in the sky. It's yellow river, bye bye baby, baby goodbye.
64 enormous chart hits in one complete box set collection. 4 CDs of the big bestsellers from every year of the 70s.
Nothing yet. Bye, Miss American Pie. Way down like a tidal wave.
It's simply the best of the 70s. 64 of the greatest hits from a great decade of music.
Simply the best of the 70s can be yours now through this special TV offer. To order your great value copy, call the number shown on screen. Call now and ask for simply the best of the 70s. The big box set with the big hit songs from every year of the 70s. Call now.
On Sunday nights on Eurosport, we're in the American zone. That means extended coverage of at least one major US motorsport event and all the latest American sports news, so you can catch up with the latest baseball, basketball, ice hockey, American football, you name it. This week, NASCAR and the first American Le Mans of the season from the Texas Motor Speedway. The American Zone, Sunday from 20:30 on Eurosport.
Sidecar World Championship here at Valencia Circuit in Spain. Just 3 laps to go. This race is coming to a pinnacle, coming to a crescendo, the most exciting part of the race. I've never seen such a fiercely contested race mid-race. There were 5 outfits altogether, but these two, Klaus Laffenbach this year with Christian Parzer last year was of course with Jörg Steinhausen, but chop and change. Klaus Laffenbach now leading the race with Christian Parzer in the chair. Second place is of course Steve Webster, defending champion from last year, Steve Webster with Paul Woodhead, and in third place still is Jörg Steinhausen, but there is the number 7 machine, Steve Abbott and Jamie Biggs, the British pair on the Grevenseck Racing outfit. They are looking menacing, holding in 4th place at the moment on that Yamaha powered outfit, a little bit lighter than the Suzuki outfits in front of him, and able to brake later and accelerate earlier on. So Stevie Abbott doing a fine job out there. So Ab, do your best, mate. You're in 4th at the moment, but you're closing at the moment on Jörg Steinhausen. So still all to contest, all to play for on the rostrum. This at the moment is the titanic struggle at the front, with Steve Webster doing the chasing. He's currently second in the race, but the race leader at the moment, Klaus Laffenbach, has looked at his pit boards and he's up the pace yet again as they go by Stuart Muldoon and Trevor Crone, the GB pairing on the clock, Grand Prix Excalibur Racing. They're being lapped. But as I mentioned, Klaus Laffenbach, Christian Parzer have wound up the wick, and there's about 6 machines lengths now between them and chasing Steve Webster and Paul Woodhead with just 2 laps to go. So maybe Claffey's got something in hand. Klaus Laffenbach, yeah, 1.390s ahead of Steve Webster. The battle for third, the Steinhausen Hetherington outfit is still in 3rd place, but right there in contention, machine number 7, Stevie Abbott and Jamie Biggs on the Yamaha-based machine, the Grevenseck Racing machine, is menacing. He's hounding the number 3 machine of Jörg Steinhausen and Andy Hetherington. Coming through back markers again, Stevie Abbott safely got by the number 5 outfit of Gerhard Hausenberger and Adolf Harney. So I said earlier on that Hausenberger and Harney are going to be in contention this year. Not necessarily at Valencia, but they'll get it together. We'll see what they can do in 3 weeks' time in Kyalami. So the number 3 machine, that of course, Jörg Steinhausen, 2 times a winner last year in 2000, with a very, very tried and tested GSXR Steinhausen 1200cc machine. Got the power on the straights, so all that chasing number 7 machine Stevie Abbott is doing now on the corners, able to close up onto the back wheels of the Steinhausen outfit. Steinhausen knows that he can have a little bit of a buffer in contention, because on the straights, that 1200, once he lights up the rear wheel at the top of the screen coming onto that start-finish straight, poor old Stevie Abbott and basically the 1000cc engined Yamaha, well, there's going to be about another 3 machines lengths between them. But we start the final lap as Jörg Steinhausen gets by safely Stuart Muldoon and Trevor Crone on the Excalibur Racing machine. We start the final lap. So consolidating the 3rd place is that man Jörg Steinhausen, Andy Hetherington on the Steinhausen Racing machine. So Stevie Abbott, I just saw the silhouette of the Abbott machine going up on the inside relatively safely past the slightly made to jump Stuart Muldoon and Trevor Crone outfit. But at the front, Stevie Abbott is there, he's closing down. We've got about 3/4 of a lap to go, but Klaus Klaffenbach is consolidating that race lead. He had 3.1 seconds ahead, or 0.31 seconds of ahead at the start of the final lap, but that is absolutely stupendous. Klaus Klaffenbach has wound up the throttle on the Klaffenbach Racing 1200 Suzuki engine machine, hammering his authority on this race here at Valencia circuit. Looks like, barring anything going clunk in the night inside the engine, Klaus Klaffenbach is looking like he's got both hands on the race win here at Ricardo Tormo circuit. He has just romped away from 2nd place man Steve Webster and Paul Woodhead. Steve Webster, the defending champion from last year, is going to have to put up with 2nd place here today, because Klaus Klaffenbach and new partner Christian Partzer come across the finishing line. Race winners! The checkered flag for Klaus Klaffenbach. About 3 or 4 seconds it's Steve Webster, but look at the dive. Stevie Abbott tries to go around the outside of Jörg Steinhausen. Steinhausen caught napping, but Steinhausen winds open the power of the 1200 Steinhausen Racing Suzuki 1200, steals back the 3rd place from Stevie Abbott. A brilliant 4th for him. Stevie Abbott, well done, tried to go around the outside, but that was not going to work. Back markers number 5 and 6, Gerhard Hausenberger, number 6 Stuart Muldoon, but that is the 23 machine there coming into sight. Thomas Hemmerling, Andreas Kolak, I think they too are back markers. We wait to see who comes through in 5th place, but race winners, Klaffenbach, are tremendous. But there is the 4th place man, that's the number 9 machine, Tom Hanks, Phil Biggs, GBR riders, the GBR Teamsters on the Suzuki Hanks Racing machine. A brilliant open to their season in 5th place. Absolutely tremendous, stuck to it, and a fabulous, fabulous result to them. The lower leaderboard, the lower finishers coming through across the finish line, but that man there, Klaus Klaffenbach and Christian Partzer, taking an emphatic race win. Lap 22 of 22, winning the race by 4.647 seconds. Further back, as I said, Hanks and Biggs in 5th place, Muldoon and Crony, they got there, Hausenberger, Lechty Locker in 9th, Schroeder Waffler in 10th, Guy and Peach hung on with a leaking machine in 11th, Engelberg and Englington there in 12th, Steenbergen twins 1 lap down there. That is the sidecar race here, the thrilling sidecar opener to this year.